taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course. And today, well, the first clip we're looking at in today's video is the Maiden Voyage of the Yorck. Yes, that's right. Don't hold your breath, though. You know, this is a maiden voyage and a typical Thotgor maiden voyage, so once this is over, we'll quickly move on to the next clip for the video of today. So yeah, the Yorck. It is not great. Yeah. I'll say, yeah. I mean, I'm still getting used to it. In all seriousness, I mean, if you were to compare it to, say, a Pensacola to the Yorck, you know, you'd probably have a much better and easier time playing the Pensacola, which is surprising. I know when we did the review of the Yorck, just looking at the numbers, that's what I suspected. But if you recall as well, I was very excited about the range on this ship, and I still am excited about the range on this ship. To be frank, I'm getting much more used to this Yorck, and I'm able to play it more effectively now as well. So I'm starting to like it more and more, and in fact, I just researched the range increase on the Yorck, so hooray. Just need the money to actually buy it because I spent it on some other things. So that being said, the Yorck is a much more difficult cruiser to play. Very, very difficult cruiser to play, and you really have to take that into account when you're playing this cruiser. And for that reason, you know, that's why I suspect a lot of people don't like this cruiser. So if you're not, you know, a pretty decent or a pretty solid cruiser captain, you know, in that you use different strategies and you know your cruisers, so you're using, you know, specific cruisers a certain way, I probably would suggest that maybe you don't get the Yorck if it's going to be your first German ship in the tier. Definitely, you know, what helps a lot with the German ships is if you start at tier 5 in the Königsberg and you work to the Nuremberg and then to the Yorck, because by then you should have a good sense that to play your German cruisers effectively, at least those three, to play those three effectively, you need to utilize the range of your ships. This being the maiden voyage of my Yorck, however, no. These are all things that I wasn't thinking about. But that's generally my impression of the Yorck so far. I mean, later in the channel here, we will get some actual videos up of the Yorck, and we'll talk about it, you know, in more detail in actual gameplay and stuff. But for now, those are my initial thoughts on the German cruisers. Is really, you gotta play your distance. Distance is your biggest asset in your German cruisers. Torpedoes are strictly defense. And if you use your distance to your advantage, you should find that you do decently. The Yorck has some drawbacks, though. I mean, the turret rotation speed on this thing is just horrendous. Completely and utterly horrendous. It takes a while, or rather, it took me a while to figure out how to actually play it effectively. I was used to slow turret rotation speed, right, because of my Mogami. And or not Mogami, Miyoko, right? Yeah. And Japanese cruisers, yeah, their turrets don't turn as fast as Americans, so I was used to that. But this was a real kick to the pants because it is really slow, really, really slow. Anyway, you can see getting into the battle here that I have foolishly pushed right into A. You know, I'm one of the first ships right up here in front. You know, I have some division mates with me, so I'm thinking, it's fine, it's fine. So, putting some shots into the enemy cruiser out there. There is a battleship out there that, you know, I haven't even looked at. We're not looking at them, but, you know, I haven't even paid attention to them, and I really should have. I was more focused with the Oba, and I think it was a Murmansk behind them, maybe. More focused on those guys. Take some shots here, and it's like, oh, well, that wasn't too bad. Because, again, you know, maiden voyage, I want to see what the armor can do here without being too stupid about it, being aware that it's a maiden voyage, trying not to keep to the stereotype. So, yeah. More enemy ships, you know, they're all out there. Yeah, okay, so I'm turning. I gotta get out of here. I don't want to ground myself on this island, so I continue in my really, you know, hard turn here. Here comes some incoming shots. Thinking, all right, not too bad. Sure, I lost my engine, but I was able to repair it, so I'm getting out of here. Things are things are alright. You can really see here too, in all this maneuvering that I've been doing, the slow turret rotation speed I've been speaking of. So your captain abilities to increase turret rotation speed are going to be critical on the German cruiser anyway, and it'll definitely help you for your tier 7. It's still not going to compensate for the slowness of the turrets. You might have to buy some actual module upgrades for that, but yeah, you can see it here. Yeah, so, more enemies, and I'm just sort of trying to now use my distance. I'm thinking to myself at this point, alright, Thotgor, distance is our friend here. Let's try and open it up. So you can see I've got some allied ships out in front of me, hoping that any enemies here are going to start taking out these allies. Well, start shooting at the allies. I shouldn't say take them out, right? They're on my team. But shooting at the allies, not shooting at me, giving me a chance to get my turrets rotated so I can start putting shots and actually be a helpful use to the team over here. There's the Oba again. I'm kind of focused on this Oba. I don't know why. I really felt that I wanted to, I'm in a tier 7, you're in a tier 6. This is the first battle in the Yorck. Let's make this a good go here, Thotgor, is what I'm thinking. You can see, there are battleships off in the distance, right? The Tirpitz is there. I saw Warspite is there. I'm taking some incoming shots from some fairly heavy guns. Need to be aware of that. need to be aware. Here come some shots. You can see I'm frantically turning, and wait for it. Yeah. Maiden Voyage in the Yorck. Yeah. No armor on this thing whatsoever. Remember, range is so incredibly important in these German cruisers. Just can't stress it enough, really. Anyway, moving into the second clip for the day. This is a battle in my Ibuki that I had on Northern Lights. So, taking a look at the tiering, first of all, you can tell, top tier is tier 9, fantastic, that's where I am. Looking to kick some ass here. This is the first battle, in fact, since I bought the hull upgrade for the Ibuki. Yes, finally was able to buy it. 3 million credits is what it cost me. I know that's not a whole lot, but when I just finished buying a Kagero, the Yorck, the Genvi, and their associated upgrades, yeah, it was a big deal for me. So I thought I'd take her out and celebrate. I was actually quite pleased that I got on Northern Lights. Again, this map is just really aesthetically pleasing for me. I enjoy it. I've heard critics say that it can be darker, and I agree with that. It could be darker, but nonetheless, I'm happier with it being in the game than I am if it were to be removed from the game. Let me put it like that. So in the Ibuki, on North, you can see we have 4 cap points here, and I'm not looking to, cap that A point. Nope. The way the team is sort of spread out, the way we spawned is, the advantage to us is if we focus B, C, and D. So that's where I'm going to go. That's what I'm going to help support. And it really worked out well for me as well. And then, luckily the team, because this is as much my effort as it is a team effort as well. I mean, my my overall results here are outstanding, by the way, but the team really did a good job as well. It was great to see. It was just basically a steamroller is what this battle is. Fantastic battle though. So moving in, I can see that B is being capped, so I'm going to try and get a little closer to B. I know obviously it's a destroyer. I think they have a Fletcher, there's a Fubuki for sure, and there might be one other destroyer in this battle. So I know there's a destroyer there, and I know, yeah, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to see if I can't see him. I'm not going to actually go into the cap, but, get a little closer, see if I can't see him. I've got high explosive loaded. I'm ready to take on a destroyer right now. And by the way, I mean, in this mission too, I mean, you're working on, or at least I'm working on the mission, the cruiser missions, right? So you got to kill, I think it's 50,000 damage due to destroyers in a cruiser tier 5 or higher, and shoot down 100 planes, and you'll get yourself some rewards and some money. So that's what I'm working on. I've got all the damage for the destroyers, but it's the planes I don't have. And at the end of this battle, I think I actually end up shooting down 9 planes. So cherry on top of this. Dodge the torpedoes. Obviously the destroyer that did take this B point here, he got in there and launched torpedoes. Yeah. I mean, he probably couldn't see anything. I know he couldn't see me. They can see me now, but at the time he couldn't see me. So, yeah, I guess would have done it anyway, right? Defensive torpedoes. Why not take the chance? shooting at targets off in the distance. I still have my high explosive loaded. You'll notice that I am shooting at a battleship off in the distance, so I figured, yeah, that's fine. Set them on fire, do some damage there, why not? There's a Pensacola on my port side. He is the one who's actually capping B right now. So I'm going to try and support the Pensacola, but I'm being aware of the ships that are moving in towards C. Looking at the mini-map, you can see that, there are a bunch of enemies there that are putting pressure on C, and some of them are actually getting within my torpedo range, so that is excellent. So I'm aware of these people. Pensacola seems to be fine. I helped, shoot down some airplanes there with him, or at least give him some support in shooting those down. There is a Ibuki. So there he is there. I put some shots into him, but he must have slowed right down because just missed him. Probably wouldn't have killed him, obviously, but, could have done some great damage to the Ibuki. You can see I'm lining up my torpedoes on the enemies that may come around the little headland there. The lead indicator said that I think it was an Thotgor, was going to come around, but no, he's not going to actually make it around. But those torpedoes are still out there, area deniement. They can't come around there, so that's great. There is an Atlanta, so you can see that I'm now switching over to armor piercing. Because I'm firing at the Atlanta, I can no longer see the Ibuki. I know I'm going to do more damage to the Atlanta if I'm firing armor piercing than I would if I'm firing high explosive, just because the Atlanta doesn't have very much armor at all, and my armor piercing will be able to just rip through him and hopefully get some citadels on him as well. So putting shots into him now, and he's trying to get out of the whole situation. You can tell. He's making a hard turn to port, trying not to ground himself. Although I believe, yeah, he does actually end up grounding himself. Unfortunately, I have an island a mountain between me and him. I can't actually get any effective shots into him. I still try, and I do some pretty crazy things shooting over this mountain here coming up shortly, but I don't actually get a whole lot of damage into him, just purely because of this mountain here in front of me. But you can see, yeah, I go up, I take a look, try to aim above him, and then come down to where the tree line is, or just above the horizon, because my shots will go up and over well enough. Like the firing arcs, you can see it there, is well enough that I can actually clear the mountain. It's just a matter of being able to see the target. So I have to fire, then I have to adjust, take a look at where my shots are landing, and adjust from there. Which just makes it a little more complex, but I still get some shots into him. There. Some. He's on really, really low health right now. So I mean, at this point, I'm not really concerned about getting the kill. I just want to finish him off. I want, or someone on my team to finish him off, right? Looking at this Thotgor right there. So I'm being aware of that guy, because I fully expect to come around this little corner here and have torpedoes shoved right down my throat. But there are torpedoes that he has already launched off. So alright, so I know that he's probably got a minute reload on his first spread of torpedoes, and he might still have a second spread. And bonus, I guess, too, I killed the Atlanta. Hooray for me, that's my first kill. Wasn't really important though. I mean, it was just finishing him off, right? Doesn't matter. I'm more concerned with this Thotgor, to be quite frank with everyone. There he is there. Just barely see the stern of his ship. I'm going to try and get some shots into him. He just launched his spread of torpedoes. So alright, I know now that I've got probably 30 seconds before he's going to launch another spread of torpedoes at me. In the meantime, too, as a bonus here, I'm capping C. So that's great. My team can use these points. You can see we're down. So, I really want to make sure that we get the cap, I get this kill, and we go on to victory here. Ultimate victory. That's what we're all about. There's the Thotgor, so I'm putting shots into him. This close range, though, I was confused, because you can see my shots are going into him and not doing any damage. I didn't know what was happening. I'm pretty sure I'm actually overpenning him. Doesn't matter, I've got my torpedoes launched off, but it's taken me a few salvos to actually realize that. Like, look at that. Yeah, that's completely overpenned. So now, mental note for me and for you guys, when you're this close in your Ibuki to an Thotgor, fire high explosive, because you're just going to go right through him. There's no armor on that thing. So I hit him with 2 torpedoes. I think that was actually 40,000 damage, yeah, in those 2 torpedo hits. So he's gone. That's my second kill. Fantastic. Here comes the Lexington. Alright, I think. Great. We're going to chase this guy down. We're going to get him. At this point, we do have 2 cap zones, so that's why I'm comfortable chasing him down, and that's why I'm doing it. You can see the battle progresses, or you will see rather that the battle progresses, and there's a point where I probably maybe should turn back. Like right now, for example, you notice that we are now losing the B cap zone. Yeah. So, word of caution here, and I'm saying this word of caution because everyone chases down aircraft carriers, right? We all do it. We're all, I'm not going to say guilty of it, but we all take joy in doing it. It's just we all have to, sort of make sure that we keep situational awareness when we're doing it. In this situation, and it did work out in the end for us, and, more luck than anything, I suppose. But you really want to be aware, like, look, now we only have 1 cap zone, the enemy has 3, I'm still chasing down this Lexington, look at the ally ships around me, we're all chasing them down, no one's really dealing with the fact that we only have 1 cap point. So I should have realized this, turned back, and gone and dealt with it, but I'm still chasing down Lexington. In the meantime, we've got torpedo bombers on their way in. No big deal. I've got fighters from my aircraft carrier helping me out. I've got my anti-aircraft guns trained on them. My scout plane is in the air, or my fighter plane rather is in the air. So yeah, short work of them. They're all gone. Here come some fighters. All right, let's help out my aircraft carrier and his fighters. So I'm just going to keep, steaming in this direction so that eventually those fighters will be directly over me, and I'll just hopefully obliterate them all, and my ally aircraft carrier, his fighters, hopefully will, sustain as minimal damage as possible, while continuing to push off in the Lexington, of course. Oh, this Lexington. You can really tell, though, in these later aircraft carriers, these later tier aircraft carriers, that they at least have a bit of armor now. Yeah, sure, he's burning up, and we're going to kill him here any minute now. But, it doesn't take 2 or 3 salvos to take them out, right? It takes a few more than that to actually take out those aircraft carriers. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not an aircraft carrier captain, so I have no idea what the opinion is of aircraft carrier captains on that, but it's just what I've noticed. In my cruisers, it takes a few more salvos to kill you guys in the later tiers than it does in earlier tiers, and I think that's a win for an aircraft carrier, isn't it? So the aircraft carrier Lexington is gone. That is my 3rd kill. Hooray. Now, immediately we're losing the C point. We're capping D, thankfully. So yeah, I'm steaming straight towards C. Gotta deal with the enemy that's in C. It is the Fletcher, I believe. And I'm a little concerned about dealing with this Fletcher, frankly, because Fletcher is a mighty, mighty destroyer. And, don't ever take for granted that you're just going to march in there and destroy all their destroyers. No. No. That Fletcher is one hell of a destroyer. So, I'm playing this one real cautious here. I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to throw away, everything that I've worked so hard for in this battle. So, moving cautiously, being aware that, yeah, there's a Fletcher here. I gotta cap the point. It's very important that I cap the point. There's a Yorck. I'm not concerned with the Yorck. I figure I can take him out in a few simple armor-piercing salvos, but the problem here is the Fletcher. I want to make sure that I keep high explosive loaded for when he pops up, because I don't want to take the chance that he pops up, I have armor piercing loaded, and that's what I've got loaded and that's what I got to shoot at him. No, I want my high explosive loaded, want to take him out. So I'm going to be shooting high explosive until the Fletcher's gone. That's what I've resided myself to. So there he is. We saw him for a brief moment. He's more or less going really slow within his smoke and just firing invisibly, right? So it's like, oh, god damn it, I have to close the distance here. Just gonna have to do it. I'm probably gonna have to use my acoustic ability here. There we go, pop it now. So as I'm closing the distance, I'm hoping that I'm going to, see him and get him. In the meantime, I'm getting awfully close to these guys over here. I think it's a Miyoko and a Yorck, so I'm going to start putting shots into the Yorck, because, if I can't see the Fletcher, I may as well shoot at the Yorck, try and get him gone, at the very least, and then it might be a little easier to deal with the Fletcher. That is my thought. Now the Yorck is coming a little closer, so I'm going to line torpedoes up. So there goes one, and then I take this one and I launch it right there. I figure, just in case I get the Fletcher, right? That is an ally torpedo, yes. Very, very close. It was launched from the Hatsuwaru, I believe. Luckily, I'm able to avoid it altogether, so, no harm done. I was paying attention. I I got lucky and I caught it right at the last minute, basically. But, main thing is no harm done. So my torpedoes are on the way out, but Yorck is gone. But I'm thinking to myself, maybe I could get the Fletcher, just maybe. Oh, yes. Fantastic. Fletcher's gone. That is great. There's my 4th kill. And just a matter now of, there we go. Cap C. We're even now in terms of cap points. Now it's a matter of getting some enemy ships gone, killing them, to make sure that we can get the point lead and we can win. So that's what we're going to try and do right now at this time. So no need to really stick around in C. I'm going to push beyond C. You can see the enemies have more or less grouped up. Well, the enemies that are remaining, the 3 enemies, right? These 2 guys have grouped up over here, and it's sort of their last stand, right? So alright, I'll oblige. Armor piercing's loaded. There's the Miyoko. He's going really slow, so I'm going to put an initial salvo into him. I'm waiting for my rear turrets to turn around as well. Do a bit of damage to him. Not a whole lot, but a bit. Over 2,000, I guess, so that's decent enough. Waiting for him to clear the rocks, lining up on him now, put another salvo into him, so that's great. He's turning, so we're compensating for that. Allies are shooting at him as well, put some more shots into him, and now, who's going to get the kill first, right? So there goes some of my shots, allied shots, my shots missed, put another salvo into him, and one of my allies finishes him off. Fantastic. 2 enemy ships remaining now. We've got this guy here, and I believe the last destroyer is a Kagero, so he's remaining. And what was this guy? Was it a Colorado? Let's zoom in and take a look. Yeah, Colorado remaining, so alright. Not a big deal. I have armor piercing loaded. We're gonna see what kind of damage I can do to him. Yeah, it's not a whole lot. So we'll see. Try another one here, because you really got to aim and you want them to come down. But whatever, I'm not going to deal with it. There's a bit of damage, whatever. I got high explosive queued up, so we're going to start setting this guy on fire, and we're going to do a bit of damage to him here. In case anyone was wondering, where is the Kagero will pop up shortly, but he's way down in the southern part of the map, near, southwest, in that area. Alright, so, Colorado took a bunch of shots. Allies are going to finish this guy off. Let's set him on fire, see what we can do. At this point, you're really farming XP and credits, right? More damage, more shots in, more critical damage. Just trying to do what you can while you can to really cap off a great game. But you can see, too, while the game is finishing up, and there's a Kagero there, like I mentioned. But it really was a team effort, right? Like, yes, we sort of split off and did our own thing, but we all focused and we all had it in our mind, well, the majority of us anyway, B, C, and D, right? That we just took advantage of where we spawned and focused on those points and destroyed the enemies. So taking a look, 8,700 experience was amazing. I do have a Confederate flag on there, so keep that in mind as well. 443,000 credits, so that's not too shabby at all. Taking a look at the overall team score now, top of the team overall, I almost have 3,000 base experience in this battle. That was pretty great as well, I thought. And I mean, a lot of my team are over 1,000, so again, shows you the team effort here at play. Damage done is 115,000 thereabouts, so that is not too shabby at all. I was quite pleased with that, obviously. Over 400,000 credits to finish up with as well. Fantastic. And again, 8,300 experience. Always great to see. And that just all goes towards, I think I need the torpedo upgrade on the Ibuki, and then I'll finally start researching towards the Zao. So looking forward to that. So that's today's video. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, watching it through. As always, leave any comments that you might have for me. Love responding to those. Hit the old like button if you liked the video today, and if you are not a subscriber, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. As always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.